Previously, Isagi kicks the ball with his direct shot. The ball went into the goal spectacularly. This goal also ended the match. The final whistle blew, and with a score of 3-4, the Blue Lock 11 wins. The whole stadium was ecstatic with Blue Lock's victory, and so were the Blue Lock players, who were overjoyed to win the match. At that time, Isagi, who scored the decisive goal for Blue Lock's victory, was interviewed about his future goals. Then, without hesitation, he said he would lead Japan to win the U-20 World Cup. A new generation striker makes his name thunder in the world. Isagi Yoichi, the savior of Japanese soccer. One day after the match, all the players had 2 weeks off, and they were allowed to go outside of Blue Lock. The Blue Lock project finished its phase 1, and now it's time for strikers to strip their uniforms and have a moment of respite. After coming back home, Isagi continued to go out to have fun with some of his friends. He went to Shibuya, where Bachira and Chigiri were waiting for him. They had a good chat, and suddenly Chigiri showed a news article about them being famous now. The news read, "This match got a lot of attention as Itoshi Sai debuted as a player in a national team. However, what awaited us was a completely new and fantastic spectacle that impressed everyone. Igo Jinpachi's dream of creating the best striker in the world here in Japan has shown its fangs. And the team born of the sensational concept has gathered attention not only in Japan but also the football scene across the entire world." Hearing the news made the three of them excited, as the Blue Lock team was now being noticed by soccer players around the world. Looking across, they saw the other Blue Lock players hanging out, and it didn't take long for them to join in. Since they had gathered, Bachira invited them to go to the game arcade, spending their time off by playing various games there. At the same place, they coincidentally meet the ex-U-20 players, and of course, the meeting ignites the competition between the two sides, since the previous match is still fresh. They decided to continue their match by going for a round of bowling. The competition was in a good mood, and the sound of laughter ended their day of excitement. On the way home, while waiting for the train, Isagi was approached by a family who asked if he was really Isagi Yoichi. Then they said they had seen the match before, and his son had become his fan. The little boy said he liked the goal at the end. He really liked him and the Blue Lock team, so he requested to shake hands with him, and Isagi agreed to his little fan's wish. And when they parted ways, the boy gave support, and one day as he grew up he had a dream to become a soccer player like him. On the train, Isagi reflected on what had gone before. He felt that something had changed, and he thought his goal had changed the world. On his way, Isagi accidentally met one of his old teammates, Tada Tominari. He was the striker who missed a goal in the last minute of the match and made his team lose. At that moment, Tada without hesitation welcomed Isagi back and praised him for his achievements after becoming a hero for Japanese football overnight. But suddenly during the conversation, Tada underestimated Isagi by saying, "I still can't believe how lucky you were. A goal like that at the last moment, and you got it with pure luck and nothing else. I mean, you just picked up the sloppy seconds that happened to come your way. If only I went to Blue Lock too, I could have been a hero right now. But maybe that goal of yours already used up all the luck in your life." Hearing all these words, Isagi instantly became silent and laughed for a moment, thinking about all the hard work he had gone through in the Blue Lock facility. Although Isagi felt unhappy with the words of his friend who did not respect his efforts, he chose to remain silent. He thought if he chose to argue with an idiot it would only be a waste of his time. Blue Lock headquarters, conference room. Jinpachi and the soccer mafia from all over the world are discussing the investment of the new revolutionary project, the Blue Lock Phase 2, which will involve the whole world as a massive-scale entertainment project. In his room, Isagi realized that Blue Lock had changed him. Although many things had to be sacrificed, but this is the path he chose. happiness for his achievement in changing the world with his own abilities. With all these thoughts, he was determined to survive in Blue Lock. Not long after, Isagi got a message from Anri. The message read, "Blue Lock project activities are restarting." All players who got the message looked very excited for the next fight. The scene moves to show all the players arriving at the Blue Lock facility to continue the Blue Lock project Phase 2. The moment Isagi entered the Blue Lock facility, he was surprised because he saw the former Japan U-20 national team players who had gathered. He wondered why they had gathered at Blue Lock, and Aiku explained to him that the reason the former U-20 players were here was because Jinpachi had called them. Shortly after, Ego Jinpachi showed up on the screen and greeted the assembled players. Jinpachi said that there were still 100 days to go before the U-20 World Cup began, and he planned to make all the players evolve at a rapid pace, by throwing them into the peak of the world in Europe's Big Five leagues. Jinpachi explains that among these 5 countries, each player will choose an environment that will sharpen their skills, and he also explains his assessment of each league among the 5 countries. First, England, a league characterized by speed and physical battles, where goals are stolen by the law of physical prowess. We could call it entertainment-focused, as it makes you hold your breath every time. Next is Spain, a league where techniques and creativity are desired. Their citizens won't be satisfied just by seeing goals. It's a place that gathers footballers who want to express creativity and playfulness. Next is Italy, a league that favors slyness and tactics. They hold history in being able to win while holding their defense. A playstyle that fuses individual strength with robust team organization was born here. Next is France. This league is acting as a gateway to success for newcomers and young players. In recent years, their market has received a grand lot of investments, so the money flows constantly. They're currently in a great spot to become the greatest league in the world. And finally, Germany, a league that fundamentally understands that football is a sport that you win by scoring the most goals. They factor getting to victory by logical and rational means. And the player who currently holds the title of best striker in the world. Jinpachi also told the players that if anyone wants a position other than striker, make a decision with that in mind. The survival battle in the new environment you select will double as the final selection for the U-20 World Cup, as well. And with such an environment being the highest peak in the world, one thing that will be the key to winning your as among the best, will be demonstrating your uniqueness. It's time to put everything you learned on Blue Lock to the test. The stage is set to take on the world. The players are given time to choose a suitable environment to fight in. Isagi and all the Blue Lock players have chosen their environments to grow their potential. Each group is made up of 9 players, and those who have chosen environments will play and train with the U-20 team members who are on that team. Next, Isagi and some of the players were seen starting to walk to the starting room for the Germany route, and suddenly Jinpachi showed up in hologram and greeted the players who had chosen Germany. Welcome to the football of rationality and logic. The team that's currently the strongest in Germany. Bastard München. You will play with the members of this team's U-20 category and train with them. The environment of the Big Five European leagues will be recreated, right here in Blue Lock. For that purpose, I have invited players your age, who currently play for the strongest teams in 5 big leagues. From England, it's Manchester City. From Italy, it's Ubers. From Spain, it's FC Barça. From France, it's Paris X-Gen. And from Germany, it's Bastard München. Your next goal will be to win in this environment. And the one who will be guiding you all won't be me, but instead the ace strikers who reign over each of these top teams. Allow me to introduce you. The absolute ace of Bastard München and the one who holds the title of the best player in the world. Noel Noah, the master striker. As a result of the match against Japan's U-20, Blue Lock now holds the attention of the entire world, and this pipe dream of mine caught the attention of plenty of greedy sponsors. So now, our Phase 2 will turn out even better than what I had planned. And of course, this isn't limited to the German team. Indeed, gathered in each stratum are the U-20 regulars of each champion team, and a mate striker of their own. Meaning you all will have a chance to absorb a new dimension of football. Allow me to introduce them. From England's Manchester City, he who has an iron body and is considered to be a striker on par with Noel Noah. Chris Prince, the perfect hero. From Spain's FC Barça, the biggest scorer of the league. The genius dribbler that Brazil boasts of. Lavino, the dancer. From Italy's Ubers, the victory wayfarer. A reliable contractor who brings victory to whichever team he transfers to. Snuffy, the crown messager. And from France's PXG, the speedster striker. The #1 supernova who football fans around the world have their eyes on. Loki, the god sprinter. They'll each guide their players on their own philosophy, and you all will evolve in that environment. Whether you to or not. Let's move on to the details of Phase 2. First, you will train under the master. You must show your value to be chosen for a team mixed with the 11 members that were brought from the original team. Then you will have to be chosen as the regular player. Second, the 11 chosen will play in matches. The opponents will, of course, be the teams made in the other strata. And a league will be formed with those 5 teams. And every match has special rules that must be followed. 1. It's first to 3 goals, a measure to guarantee the matches will be speedy and dramatic. 2. Infinite substitutions. Anyone can be subbed in or out at any point infinitely. And 3. Each team will be allowed to sub in their master striker for 3 minutes. I call it the star change system. Those are the rules for the matches, made with a focus on entertainment. And don't forget, this is also the final selection for the team that's going to the U-20 World Cup. Depending on how the matches go, after each of them is over, the rankings could change completely. This will be a battle for survival for the new generation never before seen in the history of soccer. The Neo-Egoist League. After that, Jinpachi added, in Germany's Bastard München team, there's gonna be another player who he just had to personally include. And he's elected to bring back to the program the monster born out of that path. Come on in. The only survivor of the wild card. And the final dark horse. Kunigami Rensuke. After giving some explanations about the Neo-Egoist League, Jinpachi vanished and leave the rest to the master striker, Noel Noah. Soon a giant door was opened and Noah told all the players to reach the goal and he would be waiting there. The countdown to the training session began, and during the countdown, Isagi greeted Kunigami by saying, he never knew we had a kind of loser's bracket. Welcome back, superhero. Hearing those words, Kunigami told Isagi to shut up and don't call himself a hero anymore. He had left that childish dumbassery in hell. Isagi, who heard those words, was surprised. He couldn't imagine what had happened to Kunigami while in wildcard until he changed like that. Training start. All players dash to the goal by completing obstacles in 5 zones that have been set up. First zone, straight dash. Second zone, climbing dash. Third zone, ladder sprint. Fourth zone, step jumps. At this moment Isagi realized that everyone from Blue Lock had trouble keeping up with the players from Bastard München except for Kunigami. While the Blue Lock players were still adapting to the obstacles in front of them, surprisingly only Kunigami was able to match the speed and physical strength of the players from the Bastard München. In the final zone, ball dribble and shoot. Isagi is determined to prove his worth. He dribbles the ball over every obstacle. The moment his target came into view, he focused on aiming for the target as efficiently as possible and slam in a high score. With his control shoot, Isagi hit the ball into the target, but from the side suddenly a Bastard München player kicked the ball aiming to block Isagi's ball in mid-air on purpose. After doing that, he told Isagi to kneel down to him. Seeing the guy in front of him, Isagi was surprised and noticed he was Michael Kaiser, one of the new generation World 11, same as Itoshi Sai. Soon Alexis Ness approached the Blue Lock players and gave them a micro-interpreter tool that Jinpachi had provided earlier for communication between players with different languages. After the device was used by all Blue Lock players, they clearly understood the language of German players and found out that they only regarded Blue Lock as weak players. They even said that coming and participating in the Blue Lock project was a waste of their time, after seeing Blue Lock players with levels and powers lower than theirs. Amidst the tension between players, suddenly Kaiser quickly goes to Isagi and provokes him. Isagi, who feels pissed off, tells Kaiser to shut up because he will destroy his life. Then Kaiser said, "Blue Lock is a small play that goes between the intermissions. These guys are the circus animals that give some flair to that." Isagi is a foolish clown who thought he was the protagonist until now. Suddenly Noah came in and instructed Kaiser to stop with the habit of acting like he was superior. Noah also said to all the players that the first training was over, and this training aimed to gauge the physical abilities of each player and the philosophy of Bastard Munchen, super rationality. He does not take invisible things like the impression of emotion into consideration. Only those who hold the proper numbers to win will be chosen as regular players. And for the ranking, he will take the data from the results of the training and from their matches for all 21 players here. Those who make it to the top 11 will be used in matches and those below will not be used, because Bastard Munchen is a team that wins with logic. Now Isagi is at number 21, which is the last rank due to he didn't finish the first training, while the top 11 ranks are filled by Bastard Munchen, except for one guy in third place, Kunigami. He is the only Blue Lock player who can compete with Bastard Munchen. Isagi, who saw his position in the last rank due to Kaiser, was very upset. He determined that he would rise up and bring Kaiser down from the top. So what will happen next? Will Isagi be able to destroy Kaiser with his effort and rationality? The training days begin. Kinetic vision training. Off-the-ball training. In order to overthrow Kaiser, Isagi had to put all his efforts into increasing his abilities. There are 10 days left before the first match. Every day, he completed the training assigned by Noah, and as the ranking got updated, he's fighting in order to get into the top 11. And for now, the rank of Isagi has climbed to number 17. He is also determined to devour all the player skills of the Bastard Munchen, the strongest team from Germany, so that he can win against Kaiser. After completing the special training, Isagi evaluated and analyzed his current stats in his room. From the data that had been collected by every player in the Blue Lock facility, Isagi's ability was in the B category, which was around 76 points. Although Isagi has a score of physical ability and passing which is not good enough, he still has a higher score of kinetic vision and direct plays. However, Isagi, who was not satisfied with his current abilities, he went to see his master, Noel Noah, to ask for advice on how he could improve in order to defeat Kaiser, who is currently ranked first in the Bastard Munchen team. Isagi was confused about the next step he should take in order to improve. He asked for advice about how to create opportunities using his current weapon, direct shots. Hearing that, Noah began to ask about the mindset and the strategy that Isagi would use to score his goals. At first, Isagi smoothly explained the entire scheme for scoring goals with his direct shots, but when Noah asked if that assumption could be used to beat him, Isagi was unsure of the success rate if it was used against Noah. Noah said that Isagi had failed to notice the value of himself, with the thought without logic in his mind. At the moment, Noah was sure that it was contrary to the Bastard Munchen philosophy. So in other words, Noah was trying to implement and improve the mindset of Isagi so that he could keep improving his kinetic vision, which is the foundation of his game. 10 days later at Blue Lock's Central Field, the first match of the Neo-Egoist League was about to kick off. Even though Isagi had to spend time on the bench for not being selected as a starter, But that did not make him desperate. Considering all the things he had learned from Noel Noah before, he had come to understand his new sense of values. As the FC Barça players walked onto the field, we can see Bachira and Otoya becoming starting members. Isagi, who saw that, felt motivated to keep fighting, even though he can only sit on the bench now. But with his faith in himself, he is determined to prove his worth in the Neo-Egoist League soon. So what will happen next? Will Isagi be able to show his worth in the Neo-Egoist League? Thanks for watching. Peace.